This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Manan Shah. I have given you all an agenda. The agenda is about 45 minutes. So we will try to follow the agenda as close as possible. Komal is my friend, and she's going to watch me if I'm going on some topic too much, or if I'm extending, if I'm going on too long for one topic, she will send me a message and she'll tell me that, Manan, go to the next topic. But sometimes I get carried forward. Let's start with the introduction. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Welcome. Let's go back to quickly introduction part. My name is Manan. I'm on H1b visa, and I'm a physical therapist. I studied in Mangalore, Srinivas College, and I did my master's in Minnesota State University. Please unmute yourself. Okay, I passed in 2010, and I came to New York. I became a licensed physical therapist for the state of New York. And after 1 or 2 years, there were some in physical therapy. I was working in a nursing home, and I had an opportunity to start some private patients on the side. I was not sure if I was able to do it or not. I did some research and I couldn't find proper things. People say no and not allowed and like that. I'm the person who read fine lines. Okay, I have to remove somebody. So I had an opportunity to start a business. At that time, I looked everywhere. There was no one line that says that I can start a business. And I looked into the USCIS guidelines and Department of Labor guidelines and IRS guidelines. And I couldn't read one line which says that I cannot start a business. I looked to videos that how to start a business, and I figured out that how to start a business. Then somehow I started a business, and I started seeing the patients, and I registered a company, LLC, and I started making extra money on LLC, and I started giving this experience to my friends, and they started adapting the system. After that, I started posting this on Facebook, but it didn't work well, because if you put something on Facebook, people are not so Arpita, I mean, please. Again, this is not an Amway or any other kind of MLM I'm teaching. All I'm teaching is how it is possible to start a business on H1b and H4 visa. Experience-wise, since my first video on YouTube goes back to 2015, at that time I have told people that, okay, I am teaching everyone, whoever wants to talk to me, they can, because I give everything on YouTube for free, that if you want to come back and talk to me, you can give me a call back. And since then, I'm getting 1 phone call or 2 phone calls. So I have trained more than 300 people personally, and everyone is doing fine. Everyone is in the United States and they are working fine. Purpose of this webinar is to make people aware about the laws and evidence I have from about H1B can do a beside business, and what is the stand of USCIS and the Department of Labor. Okay, so let's come to the myth part, the second part in our agenda. The second part in our agenda and the myth, and the first part is H1B and H4 are unable to start any business. So H1B and H4 cannot start a business. This is a myth I'm saying, and you will all understand when we keep on going. This is the most basic belief we all have, that we cannot start a business. It is in H1B and H4 guidelines, if you see, it's nowhere it's mentioned that you can start a business or you cannot start a business. This is not a bottom line. We are just getting started. So if you look at the H1B and H4 guidelines, it is absolutely you can or cannot. There is no guidelines. So that doesn't mean that you can start a business. If something is not written, that doesn't mean that you can start a business. So we will come back to that point, that why it is completely myth. People just believe that you cannot start a business. second myth is you can only be a silent partner. So this is like people are saying that they are like Mark Cuban and they have like $10,000-15,000 sitting around somewhere and they just want to invest in something. They just want to invest into something. But let's think that if you are this, people always call me that they want to be just a silent partner somewhere. That means they don't want their name anywhere, and they just want to be a partner with some green card and a citizen. So in that case, just imagine if everything worked well for a few years, and if your business works well, and if your business start making profit. See, even in the two twin brothers, if it comes to money, you can have a problem. So people said, this is my best friend and I'm going to trust him. I don't want to put my name anywhere. Just because you are on H1, you don't need to be a silent partner. You can actively register yourself as a business. So you don't need to be just a silent partner. The third myth is H1b and H4 cannot work actively. This is the biggest myth I have heard, and I don't know where it came from. So I don't know, maybe people were investing in stock market and everything, and this is the most convenient way, they said. See, there is nothing like, there is no definition in the Labor Department or USCIS or IRS. There is no difference. There is no definition of active work versus passive work. Means they do not differentiate anything. Whoever came up with this theory was just their belief, and it just became very popular that you can only be a silent partner and you cannot actively work into it. There is no passive work. Even if people who are working in a stock market, I mean, who are investing in stock market, they know that you have to work into it. You have to focus on it. You have to study on it. So any business you do, unless, as I said, if you're Mark Cuban and you just throw money, you have to work into it. You have to develop the business. So there is no passive work. That is active work. I request everyone to please do not press unmute button and keep it in the mute button. It is a little annoying if you press unmute button. The next myth is you need to be a partner of a green card or a citizen to start a business. So people say, I want to be a partner with a green card or a citizen. So that means they want to be a 50% partner of some citizen or a green card holder. Means if we are doing something wrong or if we are breaking some laws, they are breaking just 50% of it. So that means they are saying they are just half wet. Or in other words, I said it's just like as good as half pregnant. So either you are doing a business or you are not doing a business. So partnering with a green card or citizen doesn't make you any better. So just because you're on H1B and that person has a green card or citizen, you don't need to partner them because you do not have that green card citizenship. The next is H4 cannot start a business. H4 cannot start a business. See, this is the biggest myth we carried from last 20 years, that H4 cannot start a business. We have so much talent and we lost so much talent in last 20 years because H4 is considered as a golden cage. But H4 visa can actually start any business because H4 people are not eligible for social security number. But in order to start a business, you do not need to have a social security number. In this country, even if you are a refugee, you have no paperwork, no documents, you can still start a business. So if you're on H4, whether you have EAD or not EAD, it doesn't matter, you can still start a business. And I will explain it further how is it possible. The H4 needs an EAD to start a business. So people always say that if you have an EAD card, you can definitely start a business. See, EAD card allows you to get a social security number. That means you can go to the Walmart or Dunkin's or in any other company that you can join and you can get a job. But as I said previously, you do not require a social security number to start a business. So that theory, that logic is completely wrong, that H4 needs an EAD to start a business. will have difficulty in getting a green card or H1b renewal or port of entry. I'm just going through the agenda. So this is what I promised, and this is what I'm going line by line. See, we'll have a difficulty. See, my priority date is 2012. I was a part of an active movement of a group. We went to Washington, D.C. We explained them, listen, we are not taking anybody's job. We are part of this community. We are here to add into the society. But at the time of voting, nobody voted in favor of us. So means if I'm not expecting green card anytime soon, and if you are expecting, wish you all the luck. Let's say many of my clients, they have already got the green card who had adapted this theory, this H1B side business. So when, let's say, when you break even a parking, if you break a traffic violence, or if you break into someone's house, you break certain law. Like you say, you break law 172.ACB or you are breaking this law, like 78 law number 78.234. But when you start a business on H1b and H4, you are not coming even close to any law which you are violating. That means, and I'm going to provide you those documents. Let's say in the port of entry or during the green card, they say you were starting a business. I have a letter from USCIS and Department of Labor that, listen, I asked USCIS that if I started a business, if I want to start a business, do you have any problem? And USCIS, what they say, I'm going to cover later, but in one line, they don't know because they do not have anything written down. Same thing, I have letter from Department of Labor. They actually say they do not have any control what we do. If we do a business or not, they cannot say anything. So at the port of entry or at the green card or anything, they do not have right to stop you from doing that under any law or any guidelines, because you have proof, or you will have a proof from letters from USCIS and Department of Labor that you are not breaking any laws. People ask me that you can start a YouTube channel or a podcast channel. Like, I have 350 subscribers and I have one of my videos has over 15,000 views. I'm not even close to start making money, and that's not even my purpose, to start few pennies here and there from YouTube. That is not my purpose. So it will take a long time until when you touch the threshold of YouTube. You do not start making money from YouTube from the first day. And podcast, unless you have 10,000 or 20,000 listeners every show, you are not going to make money. So if you want to start a YouTube channel or podcast, feel free. It will take a long time before you start making money. And even if you start making money, I will explain it to you. How is it possible? Now, so, as I said in the beginning, this is not an Amway or MLM. Let me tell you what are my clients are. More than 50% of my clients, they want to start some kind of IT consulting business. So they want to just business to business. They want to hire somebody from here, from India, and they want to run a company. These are more than 50% of my clients want to start an IT consulting company. Other are, they want to sell something on Etsy or Amazon. People want to start a yoga studio. Some of my clients have restaurants. There are photographers, building designers, and they just do freelancer. Upwork, some of our bloggers, there are some doctors and dentists who started their own second practice. So it is a wide range of business you can start. And what business you want to come up with, you have to come up with an idea. I'm not selling you any idea that any industry or any third party product or service that you buy this. You have to come up with some kind of idea and some kind of niche you have in which you are going to follow and which you always wanted to fulfill. The next point we are going to cover is why lawyers are keeping this secret, even if you spend hundreds of dollars for their consultation. I asked a lawyer in Dallas on a live radio, and I asked them that I was already doing this side business from last 7 to 8 years, but I still wanted to ask them a question that what line of the law book we are breaking if we start a business. So this is what lawyer told me, that particular lawyer, that this is a common sense. It is not, he said actually, it is not written anywhere. It is a common sense that you came to this country for H1B, means work for a company. Now that lawyer's common sense differs with my common sense. With all due respect to that lawyer, we all know lawyers are great, they are smart, we all have worked with immigration lawyers. But that lawyer's common sense differs with my common sense, that that lawyer feels that we are slave in this country and we are in this country just to do 9-to-5 job and nothing else. And my common sense is that I am in United States and I'm in the free country and I am not slave. If as long as I maintain my H1B and H4 visa status, what I do, what the states and federal has given me rights, I am allowed to do that. And we will go through those points once we start talking about different agencies. So this is the difference between the common sense of the lawyers. Okay, another point I want to cover, why lawyers are not saying this. Okay, so let's say you are a best orthopedic doctor and someone has a pain and there is some particular oil in India. You know it works very well. It works for your grandmother, it works for your mother, it works in your family. But being the doctor, you cannot recommend that particular oil to your patients in the United States because it doesn't have any evidence and it is not allowed. It is not, maybe not a medical practice. It may be a herbal practice, but it is not a medical practice. So even though that particular orthopedic doctor is practicing that ointment for their family, they cannot recommend. The same thing with the lawyer. They do not, because it is not written, and this is the closest conclusion I have come up with, that why lawyers are not allowing us to start a business. That because it's not written in the law book anywhere, they do not fall into this issue that they want to be one to suggesting people to start a business. See, and it's a liability issue. If they feel that they got into some issue and if some liability issue happen and someone sue them, and you know in this world, if someone sue them and the whole business is down, they cannot work anymore. And that is the closest thing I have come up, that this is the reason lawyers are not saying because of a liability reason, because same like that ointment is not mentioned in medical book, this law is not written that you can start a business. In any law book, they are not letting us to start a business. But once we go further, I will conclude that it is absolutely legal in United States to start a business. Now let's come to the next part of fourth in our agenda. Excuse me. What is the USCIS and other agencies stand on starting a business? So under a Freedom of Information Act, every agency in this country has Freedom of Information Act, like the same time we have in India. Like we can ask them that how much did Narendra Modi spend on traveling, and like anything, what is this particular law and what is that? The same thing, Freedom of Information Act is in United States, in USCIS. So under that law, I asked them a question that I am on H1B, my wife is on H4, I want to start a business, and my wife also wants to start a business. What law we are breaking? I would like the clarification. And it is the law that they have to respond to me. And what they responded to me is they don't know. They literally, you will see that letter, they do not have any information about it, and they will come back to me. Once you see that letter, and you may have seen that letter in my landing pages, that the letter goes back to 2017, that they will talk to different agencies and then they will come back to me. Different agencies means Department of Labor, IRS, Social Security, God knows. But excuse me, I will give you the case number and you will have an access of the case number of that particular case which I'm talking, 3 years old. And you will be able to follow that case, that till now, they do not have any information about it. And you will have access of that letter. The second is Department of Labor. I asked the same question to Department of Labor, that I'm on H1B, my wife is on H4, I want to start a business. What are laws I'm breaking and what is your guidelines? So they replied me that what a person does beyond 9 to 5 job is not under Labor Department control. Means they cannot tell us what we can do after beyond job. It is not under Labor Department's control. Labor Department's job is, if H1b person, that company is legal and the employee is not exploited and he's getting proper wage and he is qualified to work, that back and forth. But what we do beyond that is not under Labor Department control. This is what they said for H1, and for H4 they said that H4 is completely outside the Department of Labor diaspora. Means they have no idea what H4 guidelines is, and they have nothing to say and nothing to add. That means USCIS office and Department of Labor doesn't have any problem, and I will give you, you will have access of those letters today. You can get those exact same letters in your email. I will tell you how. Excuse me. IRS. So the IRS, I looked into the many different guidelines of IRS. Every single possible guidelines IRS has mentioned of it doesn't differentiate you with immigration, non-immigration, refugee, active work, passive work. They do not have any differentiation between all of them. Now, in IRS, when you register your business, you have to generate a number. So when you generate that number, this is very critical. We all should know that IRS must know, or at least should know, that we are on H1B. When you generate a business number, you have to go to IRS website. And at that time, you have to put a social security number into it. And there is no proper guidelines or mention that why they are asking the social security number. Now you must, if we are not allowed to start a business because our social security card clearly says that Department of Homeland Security approval requires, we cannot go to Walmart and start working on H1. So if that was the case, if we are not meant to start a business, why IRS is generating a business number for us? They are not differentiating between a citizen, green card, or H1 or anybody. So this is a very critical point to understand, that IRS is absolutely okay for you to start a business. They know you are on H1B. We hope we all accept that IRS knows you are on H1B, and they are still generating the business number for you, and they will still accept your tax. You will have to pay your taxes and your fair share of tax. It is absolutely vital that you pay your tax, and at that time also IRS knows that you are on H1B. So if you were not allowed, why they let them do it? With the 10 years of experience, this is what my conclusion is, why IRS is asking your social security number. If you go ahead, because you can generate multiple business numbers, because if you generate 3 or 4 or 5 business numbers, IRS will stop that and they will ask you to call them that what is the reason you are making 4 or 5 businesses. If one business is okay, 2 business is okay, 5. So once you start making, so they're just keeping a track of social security number versus how many businesses are being opened. That is the only thing which I have learned from my 10 years of experience, that why IRS is asking your social security number. And I know that they do not have any guidelines to stop you to start a business, and they are letting you to start a business. Let's go to Secretary of State. What is Secretary of State? When you register your business, whether it's a sole proprietorship, you can register the local county clerk, which costs only $20. Now, let's talk these federal agencies first before we jump into the state agencies. Now, none of these agencies has still told us that you can start a business. Or you cannot start a business, or you can start a business. Now let's come back to the state. Means we are not violating so far out of these 3 agencies any federal laws. Now, when you live in particular state, if I live in state of Texas, I cannot go to California, means I cannot go to California DMV office and get a driving license. I need to get a driving license in the state of Texas because I live in Texas. I'm a resident of Texas. So being a resident of state of Texas, I earn some privileges that excuse me. Okay. I hope you all can see me. If something happened, I can still, people are there. Okay. So if you are in that particular state, you are allowed to start you get some privileges. And those privileges includes driving in your state, getting a driving license in your state. Every state has a Secretary of State department, and one of the function of Secretary of State that you can register your business with Secretary of State, whether it's a LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. Coming back to some gentleman who asked me the question, they can open a C Corp and S Corp. When you go and open a C Corp and S Corp or LLC, they do not ask your social security number. I asked them that I'm on H1b. I specifically told them on H1b. They said it doesn't matter. As long as you have an address of state of Texas, they will let me start a business. That's all they said. If they did not say anything that they do not have any problem, that doesn't mean that we can do it or do not. So I talked to the state attorney general. Now, what is the function of state attorney general is all the federal laws are followed in the state, and everything goes according to laws and law and order. Not just a law and order, but all the laws, federal laws and state laws are followed properly. So I called several Secretary of State Attorney General in different states, and I asked them that if I open a business on H1B, do you have any problem? All they say is, as long as you follow Secretary of State guidelines, we just mentioned, you can open a business. They do not have any problem. So let's put all five these agencies together. No particular agency has said us that you can start a business or you cannot start a business. But if you put all these five agencies together, the conclusion is you can start a business because state gives you the right to open the business. Now, let's come back to the next point. How can you get the access of USCIS and Department of Labor letters? See, I am in the business, and this H1b and H4 to teach them is one of my, as I said, I have talked to 300 people, and all out of them, more than 250, just 12 or first 20 were free. And after that, all were paid clients because my wife won't be happy that if I keep talking to different people for free. So I started charging them. So I'm in the business of making money. And if this is my website, I'll give you all the link. Excuse me. If you see here, this is the Department of Labor. I have sent these letters in $65, but just for today, I am giving in just $15. I'm going to post this link here. If I hope everyone sees this link, and it's just for this today only. I'm putting it for $15. From tomorrow morning, I'm going to put back on 65 just because. Sorry, I will give you all the chance to talk. Give me 1 second. We are coming to. I'll open the chat room very quickly. So these are the letters. So what you're getting in $15 is USCIS letter and Department of Labor. So as soon you make a payment, within 15 minutes, you will receive those letters in your email. And it says exactly what I told you. It says that I have sold this letter